We're given the following tables, and we want to state the limit if it exists, and the graphical significance with location that appears to be represented in the tables below. So let's start at the first one. We're looking at limit as x approaches 3. From the left, as we're getting closer and closer to x equals 3, the y values are getting smaller and smaller until they reach 0 at x equals 3. So here the left-hand limit will be 0. Now, if we look at the right-hand limit, we notice that we get an error for the y values. And what that means is these x values are not part of the domain. So a good example would be if we have something like this. If we have a function that looks like this, from the left, clearly it's getting closer and closer to 0, but from the right of 3, it's not part of the domain. Now obviously I don't know what happens beyond 3.003, but this is just an example that has similar behavior. So clearly the limit here would have to be 0. So here the limit is 0. Now for part B, we're looking at x equals -2, and as we're approaching it from the left, notice the numbers. We have -8,343, -125,000, -12,510, -25,010. So it's becoming more negative as we go. And at -2, we get an error. That's not part of the domain. So what this looks like, well, if it's not part of the domain, it could either be the situation that we had in part A, or it could be a hole, or it could be an asymptote. So let's see what happens. Now from the right, we notice that the numbers are increasing. We have 8,323.3, 12,490, and then 24,990. So it's becoming more positive. In other words, from the left, it's becoming more negative. So something like this. And from the right, it's becoming more positive. And so this has to be a vertical asymptote. And because the left hand and the right hand limits do not agree, the limit does not exist. Part C, we're looking at x approaching 2. And so from the left, we have -0.0017, -0.0011. It looks like it's getting smaller. And then -6 times 10 to the -4. Okay, so that's what that means. So this is -6 times 10 to the -4, which we can rewrite it as -0.0006. So obviously that's smaller than -0.0011. So as we're approaching 2 from the left, we're getting smaller and smaller until we reach 0 and x equals 2. Similarly, from the right, we're getting smaller. We're going from 0.00171, 0.00114, and then 5.7 e to -4 is just 0.00057, which is smaller than the previous value. So from the right, it's approaching 0. From the left, it's approaching 0. And what this means is you have a continuous function at x equals 2. It's going to approach 0. So from the left side, it's coming in from the negative direction. From the right side, it's coming in from the positive direction. So it looks something like this. It's continuous, the limit exists, and the limit here is 0.